Could Wayfarer Studios and Justin Baldoni be preparing an appeal against the New York Times, as fans say they did nothing wrong? You wake up one morning to find an avalanche of headlines proclaiming you the villain. Your reputation, forged over years of sweat, craft, and ambition, feels like it's dangling by a thread. And then, just when you think you've weathered the storm, you learn the paper that covered your downfall is now suing you. Sounds like a screenplay, right? But in Hollywood, reality sometimes out-dramatizes fiction. In the tangled saga between Justin Baldoni, his company Wayfarer Studios, and the New York Times, we find a swirling mix of legal filings, career reputations, alleged harassment, countersuits, and yes, appeals looming on the horizon. Keep watching. We're diving into a story where who's right and who's wrong may not be as clear-cut as fans believe, and where the next chapter could tip the scales. Here's what happened. In December 2024, actress Blake Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department accusing Baldoni and Wayfarer of a hostile work environment during the production of the film. Shortly after, the New York Times published an investigative piece titled, "We Can Bury Anyone," inside a Hollywood smear machine, which detailed Lively's allegations and claimed a PR team worked to dismantle her reputation. Baldoni and Wayfarer sued the NYT for defamation, false light, and other claims, ultimately seeking hundreds of millions in damages. Then in June 2025, a federal judge dismissed Baldoni's suit against the NYT, finding that the reporting was protected under the fair report privilege. Why the headline question about an appeal? Because recently, the Times turned around and filed suit against Wayfarer, saying Baldoni's team's defamation case was a strategic lawsuit against public participation meant to muzzle journalism and demanded reimbursement of its legal fees. What does that mean? Could Wayfarer and Baldoni appeal, regroup, and fight again? Let's dig in. Baldoni's camp says the original article cherry-picked texts, omitted context, and falsely painted him as orchestrating a smear campaign. The judge found the NYT's reporting protected by law and said there was no obvious motive to favor Lively's version. The Times claims Wayfarer's lawsuit lacked any basis in fact or law and thus qualifies under anti-SLAPP statute. In legal land, not guilty isn't the same as innocent. The threshold for defamation is exacting, especially for public figures. So yes, fans believe Baldoni and Wayfarer are in the clear and being punished unfairly. But the legal reality is far murkier, which begs the question, will they appeal, or is the appeal more about strategy? If Wayfarer and Baldoni are considering an appeal, what might that involve, and what are the obstacles? Refiling amended claims. The judge allowed some parts of Baldoni's suit to be amended and refiled. Shifting focus. Instead of trying to win full defamation damages, the appeal might narrow to contract or interference claims, less headline-grabbing, more focused. Legal precedents on privilege. Courts heavily protect media reporting on official documents and proceedings, so defamation suits like this are tough. Will Wayfarer's appeal be about righting a wrong, from their perspective, or about salvaging a reputation despite mixed legal wins? We're about to see. Wayfarer has thus far called themselves standing tall for truth, even against giants. NYT playing offense. They're not just defending, they're counterattacking. This escalates the stakes for Wayfarer. Wayfarer under pressure. If they lose the anti-SLAPP case, they could be on the hook for fees, and that might shift the cost-benefit calculus of continuing an appeal. Newsrooms will watch this closely. If the anti-SLAPP law is wielded to recoup fees, reporting on powerful figures and companies could get chillier. For the public, we'll be asked to dig deeper, to ask, what's the original complaint? What's the response? What's the context? Rather than trusting first-take narratives. I believe Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni could be preparing an appeal, either an amended claim, an appellate challenge to the anti-SLAPP decision, or a strategic pivot to a new legal front. There are too many indicators. Legal windows for amendment have been opened. The countersuit by the NYT shifts the pressure. Wayfarer's next move may be to preemptively reposition. Baldoni's rhetoric, standing tall for truth against giants, signals ongoing resistance, not concession. Don't rely solely on media headlines. Seek primary documents, timelines, and context. Yes, I know. Boring lawyer stuff, but worth it. We're in the midst of a Hollywood-sized saga about power, reputation, and truth. Some will see Baldoni and Wayfarer as trampled underfoot. Others will view them as the instigators of their own downfall. The reality? Probably somewhere in between. Comment below or share this article with someone who loves film drama or celebrity/legal intrigue. Tell me, which side will you side with and why? I'd love to read your take. Let's keep the conversation going.